I thought it was it was an outstanding game, really. Few errors and penalties obviously crueled the game at different times, but Souths were red hot early on that left-hand side. That 40-20 from Reynolds was one of the most pinpoint kicks you've ever seen, I think. Just over the bloke's head and just dropped inside. There's probably a little bit of luck in it as well, but it was he meant to do it, so you can't say much else apart from that. And that Kulamatangi's offload for the Latrell try, 2 or 3 blokes hanging off him, and he just flicks it out the back. That was another really nice piece of football. I enjoyed that. But and Souths had the majority of the ball and momentum for 20 minutes, 25 minutes?
25.
And I thought they probably should have scored another try or two. And if they do, obviously the back end of this game's a lot closer, and they may have even stolen it. But Penrith, obviously TPG came on when Edwards got knocked out, which was a bit of a turning point in this game, to be honest. Edwards looked like he was a little bit off early, and Crichton going back there, he was superb for the rest of the game. Pangai Jr. and Kikau both put their shoulders in and sort of stopped those edge runs, hitting centres and halves early with good, strong defence. And their middle stiffened up as well. So they started putting shots on, which slowed Souths down a lot, slowed their play the ball down. And then they just started to get a bit of field position. Cleary's kicking game was brilliant for the majority of this game, especially in the second half. But South started to sort of compress their defence. I don't know why. Momorowski went down twice down that right-hand side, and both times the winger was 15 metres off the sideline. So Cleary saw it early and just spun it out there, and he basically had metres to run into, got in behind the defence, and both times, again, you could say there's a bit of luck to it, but that Cleary one, that's exactly where he wanted the ball to go when he put it back on his foot, and it went straight to him. And the Critter one, I'm not sure if he was actually trying to hit his Crichton with it or not, but it worked out perfectly for Penrith, didn't it? So, as I said, I thought Penrith went in closer than they should have at halftime. But then once Penrith got in front, they just kicked them again. Another game where Cleary just kicked them to death. He puts up bombs that go that high, but he can still get 50 metres off them. I don't understand how he can kick it from halfway and have the thing come down just in front of the in goal, and it's swinging around all over the place. Latrell and Mansell was fucking standing there going, underneath the ball going, "Oh, Mitchell, come and take it. Come on, I don't fucking want it." It's just like, oh, fuck.
He wanted no part of anything that went in the air after about 40 minutes, after about 45 minutes in that game.
Latrell didn't really want much to do with them either, to be honest. So, they're going to have absolute nightmares, those two, over that, especially if they're backing up first game again next. Well, obviously, Mansell won't be, but Latrell will have it in the back of his mind first week of the semi-finals when they get down into that kind of position again.
And this is the thing, that's a template now. Even if you're even a Parramatta or a Manly, you now have to, the first thing you're doing is going, right, just get as high as you can and make Latrell have to catch.
Put it between the winger and
because if he drops a couple, he starts slumping a little bit and he starts, doubting himself, and that's what you need to get him doing. Penrith
weren't ultra impressive, but their grind and their effort was fantastic. They've got some big guns to come back as well. So to me, this actually made me think that they're probably a better chance if they get in a one-on-one battle with Melbourne than what I thought before this game, to be honest. Cleary and Yeo were obviously the standouts for Penrith. Yeo is such a fucking good player, man. He's just gone so good this year. I don't even remember him being. I remember him being a good player, but I never thought he'd reach the standards that he's at the moment. He's such a big body. He's pretty quick too. He's got a good passing game. He can run over the top of you as well. He's a brilliant player. Liam Martin, Kikau, and Appy were probably the best of the rest for the Penrith team. Appy actually came to life a couple of times there in this one, which was good. Cook and Murray were the standouts, I thought, for the Rabbits, and then probably followed by Jai Arrow and Kulamatangi.
Ollie, what did you take away in it all?
Yeah, well, the big one for me, I don't think he was the best player, but in terms of changing the game, when Tavita Pangai Jr. came on, I think we were talking last Wednesday on the show, and we were saying, well, it's going to be a tight one either way, realistically. But if a TPJ comes in late, which he did, or a James Fisher-Harris, that'd swing the totem pole towards Penrith. And that I want to say that is what happened, but I don't want to overemphasize the impact that he had. It did swing the game a bit for me. Cleary was just, he was great. Another masterclass, and in defense as well. Still putting in that defensive effort, which I'm surprised he's done 2 weeks in a row now, heading into the finals, coming back from that shoulder injury. I wonder if maybe over these next couple of weeks, Ivan will give him a tap in the shoulder and say, just maybe try and stay out of it a little bit, because they want to keep him fit and firing it for the finals. But yeah, the battle between Yo and Murray as well, one of the best sort of one-on-one matchups we've seen this year. I think you brought that up during the game, Barney, as well. But yeah, Murray would have been at least the standout for me for South Sydney. Cook was up there as well. But yeah, I think it was really from that battle, Yo and Murray sort of just trying to one-up each other and get their team on the front foot.
Yeah, the game changed. Souths were absolutely murdering Penrith for the first 20 minutes through the middle. And that was Cook and Murray, just that 1-2 punch. And they had them rolling. They didn't know which way to go. And they just had absolute domination of that ruck for 20 minutes. And like you said, it was, and not to forget kick out in that bit, kick out and TPJ both coming on is what changed it. In terms of result, I'm annoyed at myself for not sticking to the guns I had for the first 16 rounds, where I thought South's forward pack can't, in a contest like this, match the A grade forward pack. And I was probably proven right, but I am going to defend in a little bit South, which is a weird thing from where I was 6 weeks ago, in that was a very, very short 10-meter line. And I don't care what you can say, but for both teams' defense to have 3 men in every tackle for 75 minutes of that game, either that is a superhuman effort from both teams, or it's an 8-meter advantage line. And I'm leaning towards.
I reckon it was close to 5 at times.
Yeah, there was some of those tackles where there was no chance for any. Didn't matter who would have been running it up. Payne Haas on Glenn Lazarus' shoulder wouldn't have made meters in some of those defensive lines. But by the time, and then you could see, as we said, Cleary's kicking game then put Penrith in field position. And those Souths did take 20 minutes to crack. You could see they were cooked by the time they did. And once that third try went in, the game was over. Souths weren't going to be able to come back. But I thought it was good defense. I was impressed by how all Souths did hang on. The thing with Souths is, if they're going to win, let's go back to how you said they would beat Para when we had this argument again back in June.
Yeah.
If Souths are going to win the comp, they need to almost play like Manly and just spread the ball from the second tackle. Yep. Get it out 100%. To Latrell. Don't worry about trying to get complete 5 and kick. Just spread it. Try and get Latrell one-on-one with someone and score early. Get going. If you're not going to break in tackle 3, kick it and back your defensive line. Try that and try and get a 12 or 18-point lead, because it could realistically be an 18-0 half time. Like,
should have been.
Let's be honest. Momorowski's 2 kicks were complete. I don't say complete ass, but there was an element of luck.
I thought the first one was. He absolutely meant that first one. The second one, I'll give you ass. The second one was ass,
but but I know he meant it. But you've seen that ball bounce back. You could have bounced anywhere, and it could have been 18-0. Probably deserved to be. I felt at halftime, once it got to that close, I thought Penrith had all the momentum. So you've got to almost blitz Penrith like Melbourne did. You've got to try and get that 18 lead and then make them chase, because then they can panic a little. They missed their shot with that, but like we said, I'm dubious on the 10 meters in a few games lately. But that all being said, the back end, the complete control. You've mentioned the A grade players were A grade. Nathan Cleary, that was a masterclass. Better than the DCE masterclass we saw. And it's funny, in a year of fullbacks, this round was a halfbacks round. I thought Reynolds, I know I've sort of been critical of him, but he's that 40-20 is incredible. DC was great. Cleary was tremendous. We'll get into a few more as we keep going. They were all fantastic. So I thought it was a real halfbacks round, which is good to see. Do I want to take Penrith to a grand final? I think so. Do I think they can beat Melbourne? I think now the grand final is going to come down to it's a funny thing, but it's going to come down to an individual effort. It could be a Harry Grant, could be a Nathan Cleary, could be a Yo, could be a Fisher Harris, but I think it's going to be a Clive Churchill winning. Whoever wins Clive Churchill is going to win the comp, which usually happens, but you know what I mean? 3 points Cleary, and then it's 2-1 for Yo and Murray for me.
I had Yo and Murray or Cook, But yeah, I'm happy with Murray.
Yeah, Murray for one, definitely.
Yeah. Fantastic. And just on both Yo and since we've been doing this show, it's funny the players that I fall in love with as footballers. And Cam Murray and Yo are up right, talk about your Crichtons and Harry Grants, whoever else, but they're right at the top of the list now. I'm just so impressed by them every week.
Yeah,
absolutely. They leave nothing out there. They don't miss many tackles. They don't make many mistakes. They add so much to their team. It's not funny.
Yeah, well, 12 months ago, we were sitting here and we were discussing, probably a bit over 12 months ago, we were sitting at the pub, and we were discussing, whether Isaiah would be able to crack into the New South Wales team. And we're saying, he'll probably be in the squad, and it's nothing against him, but there are just players who have been better. Now we're sitting here and he's going to have to be injured.
He could be the Australian captain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Well, the Australian lock at least. And I think he's well and truly secured that